lowering his blade from the throat of Chancellor Palpatine. The brief flash of hesitation spelled the end for Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker and the kindling for the birth of Darth Vader. Heading to the Jedi Temple, Anakin intercepts Master Windu and informs him of the true identity of Palpatine as the Sith Lord they have been looking for in Darth Sidious. Despite Mace Windu's orders for Anakin to stay at the temple, the Sith Lord had already seeped his way into his mind, and he jumped into his starfighter to the Chancellor's office. The sight which greeted him gave him one last chance to escape the trappings of the Sith. As Mace Windu swung his lightsaber towards the ailing Sidious, Anakin sealed his fate by slicing off Windu's hand. Collapsing to the floor in guilt, he had no choice but to bow to his new master as Darth Vader. Across the galaxy, his former padawan Ahsoka Tano felt the events on Coruscant as she made her way through hyperspace, but had no time to react as Order 66 commenced. Following his master's orders, Vader led the 501st Legion up the steps of the Jedi Temple and began his purge of the Jedi. But what if Vader, in a moment of hesitation or guilt, contacted his former padawan Ahsoka Tano? How would Vader be brought back to the light? What would Sidious do to counteract the betrayal of his apprentice? All of those questions are going to be answered. Leaving the heavily damaged office of Palpatine, Vader gathered the 501st Legion stationed in Coruscant, and together they marched towards the Jedi Temple. The gates were slightly ajar, and Vader prepared for the inevitable Jedi defense. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his head and collapsed to the floor. The clones rushed to his aid, but do not know the true source of the pain. For the new Sith apprentice, the recent surge in dark side energy was just too much to handle, and he began to feel the light side battling within. Telling the clones to position themselves around the perimeter of the temple, Vader stumbled inside. Seeing the masses of fallen Jedi Knights and younglings, Anakin howled in pain. Fighting through it, he finds a nearby R4 astromech, and together they dodged a friendly fire to go to the missions room. The R4 unit connects the signal to Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is not in a good predicament. Fighting off her own legion and trying to save Rex at the same time, she finally manages to find time to return the transmission. Without seeing her master's face, she knew something had been gravely wrong, but the hologram worsened the reality, if that was at all possible. Feeling the conflict within her master, she pleaded with him to come back to his senses and return to the light, but how could he, after all he had done? And there was still the question of Padme's life hanging in the balance. Ahsoka felt irate at her master for falling for the temptations of the dark side, but she wouldn't leave him in his moment of need. Deciding that she needed to get to Anakin as quickly as possible, she implored for her master to stop the 501st from attacking her. Anakin agreed, now so emotionally vulnerable that he was almost at the mercy of his padawan. Finding a ship in the primary hangar, she took the chip-free Rex with her and left Maul to fate. Taking a massive risk in heading to Coruscant, she made sure to stay in continuous contact with Anakin, refusing to let him out of her sight. Evading most of the aerial assaults from all of the other clones, Ahsoka and Rex spin to the surface in a fireball. Ejecting just before landing, the subsequent explosion drew the attention of the nearby ground troopers, providing the Jedi and clone with little respite. Making their escape to Coruscant's high-end housing district, they lose the clones in the congested and narrow alleyways, allowing Ahsoka to contact Anakin again. But there was no response. The feeling of hope had vanished in one moment. Just as Ahsoka was about to make her way to the temple to find Anakin, she heard the smashing of glass above her head. Gazing upwards to find its source, she blocked the shards of glass with her hands, before hearing the voice of Anakin. Ascending the wall with elegant speed and agility, Ahsoka propelled her way to the epicenter of the action, leaving Rex to scale the wall via the more conventional ascension cable. With her lightsabers lighting the area, Ahsoka recognized this to be the apartment of Padme Amidala, and saw the clashing blades of her master and Obi-Wan. Padme was on the floor, most likely Ahsoka thought from shock. Taking small side steps along the ledge, Ahsoka saw that the battle moved to the more elevated area of Padme's apartment, allowing Ahsoka to levitate Padme towards her and Rex. Rex descends with the Senator, taking her to a nearby medical facility, leaving Ahsoka to try and handle the Master and the Apprentice. With their focus on each other, Ahsoka took the opportunity to force push both of them to opposing sides of the room, bringing them back to their senses. They both deactivate their blades, angry at the intervention of Ahsoka. Anakin looks around for Padme, but she is nowhere to be found. Pointing at Ahsoka, Ahsoka stays calm, informing Anakin she was going to the local medical facility. Anakin leaps out of the window and lands on the surface below, sprinting to the direction of Padme. A confused Ahsoka and Obi-Wan followed suit, scared of what Anakin would do next. The two Force users see Anakin bulldozing any obstructing clones, helping their own passage to Padme. Reaching the bedside of his wife, Anakin continues with his tirade, much to her confusion. Beside him, the diminutive and previously unseen figure of Grandmaster Yoda is forced to put Anakin into an induced sleep, allowing for Padme to give birth to Luke and Leia free of Anakin's remonstrations. After checking Padme was in full health, Anakin was awoken from his slumber. Taking in his surroundings, he looks at his hands in bemusement. The visions of Padme were gone, and his eyes had returned from their Sith yellow. And in that moment, he remembered once again what he had done. It was time for Anakin to repair the damage that he had caused. Anakin stormed out of the ward, leaving Luke and Leia in the hands of Padme and the medical droids. Watching Anakin disappear, Obi-Wan realised that his Padawan was right to be impatient on this occasion. Sidious' grip on the galaxy was increasing with each passing moment. Heading out into the darkness with Yoda and Ahsoka, the two Jedi Masters pursue Anakin, leaving Ahsoka with the more difficult task of gathering some support against the Sith Lord. Heading to the first location recommended by Padme, it is the office of the Senator of Alderaan Bail Organa. Ahsoka knocks on the door, and the weary face of Bail Organa appeared. Seeing the look of determination on Ahsoka's face increased the spirits of Bail, as the Togruta filled him in on their ambitious plan. Organa is not convinced. He had just seen Palpatine dominate the Senate like no other politician had done before. The reign of terror was working. Nonetheless, he owed it to his planet to defy the inevitable galaxy of tyranny. Sending Breya to assist Padme, Bail Organa used a holopad to bring up a list of senators who would be opposed to Palpatine. Ahsoka dashed out of the office after absorbing the names, heading for a speeder. On the way, she is not surprised to see Padme running to Organa's office. After all, Ahsoka knew better than to stop her headstrong friend. Ducking and weaving through the civilian traffic, Ahsoka makes it to the apartment of Chairman Papanoida, head of the Pantoran Assembly. Upon arrival, Senator Chuchi is there in place of Papanoida, who had gone back to his home planet. Papanoida recognised the need to keep his opposition to Palpatine as quiet as possible, but Chuchi had disagreed, and with the presence of Ahsoka, this encouraged her to collaborate with the Jedi. As they were about to head to Organa's office, the speakers from the building were filled with the voice of Palpatine. It requested that all senators to reconvene at the Senate building immediately. Ahsoka had a bad feeling that Sidious had sensed the plans of the Jedi. She just hoped that Bail had assembled the senators fast enough. Putting the hood of her cloak over her head, Ahsoka trailed the gathering of senators and headed to the rooftop. Finding an open space to peer through, the only voice which could be heard was that of Palpatine, standing amidst a sea of scattered Senate pods, yet again condemning the Jedi and declaring there to be traitors within these walls. With that, Ahsoka shielded her eyes, watching as Palpatine unleashed a storm of Force energy, shaking the building and causing the senators to head for the exits. Amidst the chaos, Ahsoka sees the Jedi heading in, but Palpatine had already escaped. Jumping inside, the Jedi have to reformulate their initial plan of attack. This move by Palpatine was unexpected. Suddenly, a member of Bail Organa's personnel came rushing through, with news that Palpatine was quickly taking away Force-sensitive children from Coruscant. A moment of silence dropped over the group, before a flurry of activity saw them sprinting back towards the medical facility. With the help of her speeder, Ahsoka is first to the scene, and like her landing for Mandalore, she draws the attention of the clones. Jumping down to the cold pavement, she begins to deflect the fire of the clones, but slowly retreats as they grow in their numbers. Luckily, the Jedi soon arrive to assist Ahsoka, forcing the clones on the back foot. Out of the corner of his eye, Anakin could see clones loading children onto a cruiser, and ran towards the slowly closing ramp, sensing Luke and Leia on board. Using the Force to enhance his leap, he manages to grip the bottom of the ramp, his legs dangling perilously amongst buildings and passing speeders. After stabilising himself, Anakin soars to the roof of the ship and cuts through the cockpit to decapitate the clones. Taking control of the ship himself, he calmly piloted the children to the medical centre. But the sight is different from only moments before. The Jedi being pushed back by Palpatine and his guards, the Sith Lord furious at the clones for leaving Jedi alive under their noses. Anakin had to get back into the battle, and fast. Dropping his ship close by, he uses the Force to pull the struggling Ahsoka away from the battle, and commands her to pilot the ship to the apartment of the Organas. A grateful Ahsoka follows her master's command, letting Anakin face his destiny. Throwing the bodies of several guards towards the Sith Lord, the attention of the combatants is drawn to the new warrior. Palpatine's eyes narrowed in fury at the betrayal of his apprentice. What a waste of potential he was by choosing the path of the Jedi. They could have ruled the galaxy together as master and apprentice. However, Anakin had seen through the Sith Lord's layers of deceit, not only planting the visions of Padme in his mind, but also threatening his children. The Chosen One and the Dark Lord of the Sith circled each other, reducing Obi-Wan and Yoda to spectators. Then at the same time, they attacked, engaging in a blade lock. Unbeknownst to the duelists, the debris around them swelled upwards, such was the energy being exuded, leaving them in a vacuum. Palpatine's already creased face crumpled some more, as Anakin harnessed his power, before a burst of Force energy brought the battle to a standstill. Obi-Wan and Yoda get up from the floor, the noise of Yoda's cane rhythmically tapping the floor the only sound that could be heard. Palpatine was most certainly dead, remnants of his body dispersed throughout the area. Checking the health of Anakin, there was a pulse, but barely. Placing him in the facility's bacta tank, everyone was gathered around him, awaiting a response. The galaxy would need Anakin Skywalker. That is it for What If Anakin Stayed in the Light During Order 66. If you enjoyed this, please like this video, and if you're new to this channel and my other channel, subscribe for more tips. And as always, leave a comment on what tip you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.